Sick.
Looks gonna be held hostage.
Can you see Brandon? Where is Brandon? Brandon will be right here.
If he leans forward.
Yeah, true. Well, the problem is his. I'll do. It's going to happen. That's your phone.
Why is there a picture up here? We'll be able to see, like, where does it show how many people are in there? Like, if someone joins.
I think there's one.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah, I think that's viewers.
If you are viewing, whoever you are, type something in the comments.
Say hi to YouTube. Hey, YouTube.
A cold one, boy, today.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is.
It's susceptibly cold. It doesn't even look cold. It's been kind of nice last couple of days.
It's supposed to snow tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
It's snow town.
Big snow town.
32 right now. Yeah. The Vistas. What do you have? That's us. Oh.
Yeah. Like a fireplace.
That'd be sick. Until showtime.
We could honestly, we could get a wood stove.
Just like right under there where your bike is.
Yeah.
Ah, 2 people watching now.
Just stick a chimney up through this.
All right, 2 people.
Welcome.
This is the shed.
Welcome to the shed.
Can they hear us? I wonder. If you can hear us, I'm gonna need you to type a W in the chat. W.
If you cannot hear us, put an F in the chat. We're gonna stare at you until you do something.
Yo, should I put this on the? I'll put this. Oh, it's me. My mom. Well, there's 3 people, Mom. Can you hear us?
Minutes until showtime.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Put a little on the story.
Millie Rocket and Reverse. What is on the agenda?
Ravens, Steelers, Cleveland for our rebuild series. We'll talk a little about Russ too.
Awesome. Figure. We're just talking crap on YouTube right now.
Look at what this looks like now. Okay, like I took a picture of this.
What'd you get?
Like shark attack. But I'm gonna post a picture and be like, how she looks in pictures versus how she looks. Because look at this. This is what shark attack's supposed to look like. Right?
The red drizzle top, yeah.
And this is what I mean. Obviously now, but look at like halfway through, it's like this. Like what?
Yeah. How is it?
So
It's fine.
I get drinks where all the different flavors are like colors. Like they're all similar colors and it stays the same. When you start getting opposite colors, that's when they start forming weird.
Did you get the aftershock one again? Hypertone?
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
I got orange, green apple, and blue raspberry yesterday.
Orange green apple.
And blue.
Green apple, blue apple.
Orange.
It wasn't brown either. I thought it was coming out brown. Doesn't taste like that.
It's freezing.
It is a cold
Hey,
one.
Marcy, if you're still listening, can you have our landlord Chad get us a wood stove for the shed?
Oh, look at she typed in the chat.
That'd be awesome.
Hello.
She said hello. Hello, Marcy.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mindy Rocket Bars.
See you, bro.
You can also see it. No comment. No comment.
But it's not illegal.
No.
It's not illegal to have soda bottles.
Even if they aren't soda. It's not illegal.
Yeah, but there's soda.
Me and Matthew, we're binge drinkers. Like,
It's the only way to cope.
Right.
are we gonna wait to talk about Russ till he gets here? Or we started off
When
with
he comes
Russ is
in,
coming.
he can just. Oh, Russ is. You got Russ?
Russ is on the pod.
No way.
He didn't have a lot going on today. He said
I'm
so.
mad. I'm mad.
I'll work on the wood stove idea.
Yes.
Is it cold there? No. We're just bundled up because
No.
we.
He's a no.
No,
I don't know if the camera picks it up,
No.
but you can see our breath.
I can't.
Which team are we doing first?
I wanted to start with Pitt.
Nice songs about victory, prisons,
Look at this.
tongues, and oh my gosh.
Salary cap when the Saints make Russ Wilson easily fit.
Was it 120 over?
It's just like.
Did you see that tweet that like Russ doesn't want to be traded, but if he was, he wanted to go to like
The Raiders. That was funny.
the Saints, the Raiders,
Sick Cowboys.
the Cowboys, and then the
and,
Bears.
Bears. Yeah.
Why the Bears?
The Bears are good.
This one
foundation.
goes,
It's like, what?
Greatest Bears quarterback of all time. Sid Luckman, Jay Cutler, Eric Kramer, Russell Wilson saying he played for the Bills. Their Bears, Jim McMahon. That's funny.
I guess yeah. If it had Russ and then like a good receiver.
If it kept A-Rob and had Russ, they'd improve the rest.
I would say they'd be a playoff team, but they already are a playoff
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, but no. Yeah. I don't know what the Bears have to give up.
I was talking with my buddy that I'm always telling you guys about. He's talking about like the Russ trades.
5 viewers. All right.
Let's go. And all of his like scenarios were like QB for QB. Like never, there's never just gonna be like, you know what I'm saying?
This is a Open Talk Radio 313 Class production.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Game Chat Podcast. It is Thursday, February 25th, 1 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, 12 Pacific. We're live on YouTube. Brandon, where can you find us on YouTube?
Game Chat Podcast.
Game Chat Podcast on YouTube.
Game cat.
Matthew's taking a test right now. Hopefully he'll be back. Bro, he said he'd be back at 1:30, and he's taking the bus. I don't know. I doubt he gets back at 1:30.
Yeah, stuff.
Poor guy.
It's
Test day. Test day.
Yeah, it's test day. And I feel bad. Like, did he just wanted to take it. I think he worked, so that's why he wanted to take it on.
No, that's I don't.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. It's cold. We're in the shed. It's very cold in Boise. It's deceptively cold, right? That's the word you used?
deceptively cold because we've had some pretty decent days. I mean, like,
Well, what? Sunday
High
we played
40s.
spike ball.
Yeah,
right, yeah.
Very weird here.
And then I look out the window and I'm like, you know, it's like kind of partly sunny, partly cloudy. It's not that bad. And then I get outside and my car is frozen.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then, like, was it yesterday that it snowed in the morning? Did you see that? It just was like snowing, and then I went outside. I went inside, snowing, come back outside, sunny. So that's just the kind of stuff we're dealing with here.
It's a weird time.
So we got the Steelers, Browns, Ravens on the docket today, but we have to start with Russell Wilson. We have to start with Russell Wilson. What a morning it's been for Russell Wilson. I bet he's probably just sitting on a beach somewhere too. Like, that's the funny thing, is that he probably hasn't even turned his phone on this morning. And he's
It's his agent doing the work.
no 100%. So what do we even start with? Oh, that's a fake Adam Schefter account. I was like, dude.
Oh my god, alert!
Okay, so
Main headline is he hasn't requested trade, but trade is on the table. Is what
yes.
pretty much what it is.
So the latest Schefter tweet: Seahawks QB Russell Wilson has not demanded a trade, per his agent Mark Rogers, but Wilson has told the Seahawks he wants to play in Seattle, but if a trade were considered, the only teams he'd go to are the Cowboys, Saints, Raiders, Bears.
For those of you wondering, he can say that because he has a no trade clause, which means he can pretty much choose who he wants to go to, who he can't. That's just the nature of it. So.
Exactly. So he has a no trade clause. I'm interested to why. Is it those four teams? Because the Cowboys do have a quarterback. That's the weird one to me.
Can you tag and trade? That's the only question I would ask. But I don't know why they would. That would be the only scenario where
With Dak.
yeah.
Because why?
Why the Cowboys? That makes me laugh.
Yeah, I mean,
They're not the best money
would they
spot
let
either.
go of Dak then in free agency?
I don't know. It's can they get Russ without Dak being involved? I don't know the whole tag and trade process.
Well, what if they don't even tag him? What if they just walk?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe let him go. Yeah.
I thought that was.
But I think you tag Dak for 28, 29 million, whatever the quarterback position is this year, or you take on Russell Wilson's 30 something.
I think the tag is going to be I think it's 45 for Dak. Because he got tagged this year. He got tagged this past season, right?
Oh, does it go up? Yeah,
it's the average of the top 5 for the first year, and then I think it goes up 5% the second year. We should look that up. Dak's
Somebody posted. I can't remember who.
franchise tag. How much is Dak's franchise tag? Likely be in the tune of $37.7 million. Okay.
There you go.
So we were both wrong. It was right in the middle. So that was an interesting one. Saints are in that cap space would never work.
But the Cowboys wouldn't either. The Cowboys are.
Are the Cowboys in debt?
Yeah, they're not in a great position either. Well, they paid all those defensive guys, and now they're stuck.
Yeah.
So
we haven't done the Cowboys yet. That's just why I don't know. The Raiders. Is it? I was texting my dad earlier, and he was like, they seem like a Vegas couple.
yeah.
And that's the only thing. That's the only thing about these 4 teams that I was looking. There's obviously no New York, but he wouldn't ever go to the Jets just because of their situation. Same with the Giants, I'm assuming. So then you have Dallas, New Orleans, Las Vegas, and Chicago.
What if it was Max Crosby, Derek Carr, and 3 firsts for Russ?
I wouldn't take that. I need Waller.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a trade. I mean, Raiders are the one team that has a quarterback that they could return in the trade. So
I'd rather have Mariota almost.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I don't know.
This says the Cowboys have about 20 million salary cap space.
Okay.
So
that's not
They're
a
not great.
quarterback on the list.
no, that's the thing is that they haven't signed. That's without signing Dak. So
Yeah. The Saints is the only situation that really improves for him.
Yeah, barely.
I don't even know if it does, honestly.
There
Like,
was a
honestly.
lot too, so you know.
The other thing about these are all four. I saw someone tweet all 4 offensive-minded head coaches too.
Yeah.
And that's where it's it's clear he does not get along well with Pete.
And we put the poll out, right, that would you rather fire Pete or keep Russ? And I voted fire Pete, and it was 100% when I voted. So I don't know what it's at now, but
Let's check.
I mean, I think that the Seahawks fans universal will say get rid of Pete before you get rid of Russ. But
yeah.
Well, it seems like our organization is choosing right now to stick with Pete, who is still 100.
still
I
100.
just voted.
13 votes to 0.
If it is them 2 butting heads, I mean, realistically, how many years does Pete have left? Why?
Exactly.
Why go away from your star quarterback? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Did you see the whole report? I think I sent it to our group chat.
About what happened when he stormed down stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
those two screenshots.
yeah, that's okay.
Summarize it for the people. 'Cause it is kind of.
Carroll wanted to be more careful with the offense. Russell Wilson wanted to stay the course, trusting in himself. Before the Thursday night game against the Cardinals, which we lost, Wilson met with the coaches. For some time, Wilson has sought, even pushed, for influence within the organization regarding scheme and personnel. In the meeting, he outlined his own ideas for how to fix the offense. His suggestions were dismissed. Multiple sources told The Athletic. Another reminder to Wilson that the Seahawks did not see him the same way he saw himself, as a player who had earned greater control over his situation, future, and legacy. He stormed out of the room.
I would have loved to be in that room. Oh,
Oh
what a
my
crazy
gosh.
meeting that would have been.
I wonder how it went. Like, how did it go down to where he?
Yeah, Pete's just like there. No, we're gonna run the ball. Pete's
Like, what do you think? You let Russ do what he wants with the ball, and he has an MVP like start to the season, and then it stops, and then your team kind of crashes from there. Like, I feel like there's a pretty obvious correlation.
Hey, I mean, for the Seahawks, it just swapped. It was like they didn't play complementary football like all year. Like, it was in the beginning, it was Russ, win by small margins, but he's popping off, right? And then the second half of the year was defenses play, finally got their stuff together, got the grounds going, and then offense can't do anything. It's like it was weird. I mean, we talked about it. Like, you guys were like, oh, this is finally the year Russ gets his MVP buzz, right? And then the team completely swapped. Like, it's just you usually don't see that. Like, that's very rare to see a team just flip identities in midseason and try to roll with it. You know.
The only weird thing about it we were kind of doing fine up until that. Like, so that Thursday night against Arizona game, we actually won that one. We lost the Sunday night game against Arizona. But, like, our offense was still kind of doing fine. Like, we just came off against a loss against the Rams, but that's the Rams, where we only scored 16. But other than that, we had not put up less than 30 the entire season. Less than 27. 27 was our low.
What week was that?
I was week 11 was the Arizona. So if he met before that game, that's why I'm like, well, why was he meeting before that game?
Well, I wonder if, like, the game plan going into the next couple of weeks was we need to start running the ball, hold the
Maybe.
defense out. And he's like,
Yeah.
wait, we're winning. Like, why? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
It's crazy.
We got a call from Reed, I believe.
Like clockwork.
Yeah.
Like clockwork.
What's up, Reed?
How we doing?
Hey, Reed.
What we're doing?
How we doing? Good. How about you, buddy?
Doing good. So, dude, I'm just the Russell Wilson news right now is just it's kind of sad. I know. I mean, I just joined, but I heard you guys talk about it a little bit. But what are your guys? You think we should get rid of him, or you think we try everything to keep him?
Did you see that poll we put out on Instagram?
Yeah, I heard you. That's like right when you guys were talking about that.
I'd fire Pete before I traded Russell.
Oh, I mean, definitely, yeah. But I don't know. Why does I don't understand why Russ really wants to leave. Like, I know it's coming out that like they've had like disagreements, but like if he goes to like what were his options? The Saints, the Bears, the Cowboys.
And the Raiders, yep.
What is he expecting to do there?
Wow.
What is he expecting to do with those teams?
Yeah, I don't know.
The Bears, I mean, they don't have weapons. I mean, Allen Robinson, he's good. Like, he's not insane, though.
He's a free agent, too.
I don't understand, like, what his thought process is. You have DK Metcalf, who's going to be a top 10 receiver for the next 10 years. And you have a good defense right now. Well, I just don't understand what makes it better just leaving. Like, it's a trend with all sports now. It's like, okay, I'm going to pack up and leave, and then everything's going to be better. Like, I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it seems to be that he and Pete are butting heads about control in the organization, not so much his situation, you know?
Yeah, I think he's just done being told what to do and how to sit back and play, like, you know, run the ball and play like he knows.
Run Pete's style.
Yeah, he knows he's a playmaker, and he feels like he's probably being he's being undermined with his talent on his team, and it's the truth. I mean, they kind of shove him aside and said, let's run the ball and play, help the defense out, but it's not his style, you know.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, they put him in, like, the Seahawks, the Legion of Boom, and, like, that defense put him in the situation he is now. Like,
He was also young then, though.
Like, won him a Super Bowl.
He was also young then,
Yeah,
though.
he was
You know?
younger, but, like, we've also gotten a lot, like, better weapons, and I mean,
100%. So let him use them,
since
right?
Marshawn's left, yes, that's true, but I think since Marshawn's left, this team just hasn't been the same, you know?
Yeah.
I still think without like a running back. And I think that's what our team wants to be. So
I think it's what Pete wants to be. I don't think it's what the team wants to be.
That was the identity with Marshawn, was run the ball, we'll play defense, and we'll control the clock. That's just the identity when you have a running back like Marshawn Lynch. You guys don't have a running back like that anymore. Like you got to
I don't
shift
know.
at some point. You got to shift identity.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I think it's just showed Pete's like lack of ability to adapt,
Yes, the modern football.
and having
we
a.
should get rid of Pete.
I mean, I'd rather get rid of Pete than get rid of Russ. If Pete can't adapt to having a top 3 quarterback in football, then that's his fault.
I also think it's Russell taking lots of money away from, and then like I don't you can't really win right now in this league when your quarterback is taking up like a fourth of your salary cap.
No, it's tough, but I mean,
Teams have done it.
Brady and Mahomes both were. I mean, Brady's making about $30 million. They just drafted really well. He's making like 29, but they've drafted really well. That's also the difference. We've drafted pretty poorly, especially on defense. I mean, Vita Vea, Tristan Wirfs, Devin White, those guys are all on rookie deals.
Yeah, we picked DK in the last pick of the second
I
round.
know, but I'm talking about defense. Like our defense though too. Like we have not. That's why we gave away those first round picks for Adams.
Our defense wasn't the problem this year, though.
For the first half of the season, it was.
The first 11 games.
Your offense shifted to help the defense.
We got into the playoffs.
I know, but your offense shifted to help the defense. When you guys were playing the run and gun, let Russ do his thing, your defense was suffering because you guys would go score all these touchdowns, but you guys also go 3 and out a lot. And then your defense is on the field again. They get scored on a bunch. And then when they shifted to start running the ball and help your defense out, then that's when the defense started shining because they actually got breathing time during the game, you know? That's Pete's whole thing is he knew he had to help the defense, but at the same time, he pretty much numbed down what Russell Wilson was doing.
So are you saying that like we should get rid of Russ because he's making too much money?
I just think if he doesn't want to be here, like it's hard, like as a fan, you know, like it just seems like even when he went up to free agency the first time, like it just seemed like he didn't want to be in Seattle, you know, like those rumors about the Giants and stuff. Like now it just seems like he doesn't want to be here. Like I know like Pete's aging and stuff, and I don't. But if we get rid of Pete, then it's like teams that get rid of good coaches. It's so hard to find a new.
It's way harder to find a better quarterback.
Especially this season, there's so many teams that are in need of a quarterback. Like the Seahawks aren't going to be able to just pick up right from where they left off. They're not going to be able to just get a solid quarterback right away without paying for it.
To your point, Reed, I think that the league as a whole needs to like find an adjustment to handling teams with these large quarterback contracts. Because you look at the Texans, and we all shame Bill O'Brien for trading away Hopkins, but Bill O'Brien knew that when he was going to pay Deshaun, and if he paid Hopkins, I mean that's almost 40% of your cap going to your wide receiver and quarterback. Like he knew he had to get rid of one of them, did it, and then we all hate on him for it. But you're in such a tough position with these quarterback contracts rising to this $40-50 million mark. Like these teams, what are they supposed to do with this cap room? Like you can't expect these owners and organizations to take on all this money. So yeah, I mean, I think the league as a whole needs to adjust to these large contracts because we're putting teams in a constraint.
Definitely. I think as much as I love Russ, I think if we get a huge return on him, like how hard is it to throw the ball to DK?
But okay, Reed, what's your return? Your return is the draft picks in the 20s, and then it's so much harder to find a good quarterback than to just like, man, I don't know. I don't.
We found Russ in the third round.
Yeah, no, how many other? I mean,
But you found when you get Rashad Penny.
he's a top 10 quarterback in the league, top 5, and you don't just stumble onto those all the time. Look at the freaking Browns.
We should clip that. How hard is it to throw to DK Metcalf?
Okay, yeah, you may say that like it's just deep balls down the sideline, but there's a lot of like there's a reason Russ is the best deep ball thrower because he doesn't miss those. A lot of quarterbacks don't hit all those.
Brian, my dad said the Giants are in the running for
If
his
we
future.
keep Russ, we just
Oh, heck
keep
yeah.
going down this hole of not like being a good team but not contending. Like it's just frustrating. But I don't know. I think we need to make a change, and I think maybe getting rid of Pete might be the change. But we can't
then
Yeah, but I don't think getting Russ.
getting rid of Russ might make that worse.
It's not going to solve your one and done problem. I mean, realistically, Reed, how many years do you think Pete has left? 5 years, huh? And he's what,
It's not
70?
10.
He's 7 years old? Somewhere around there? 69,
I think
70?
Russell has 6 or 7 years left.
What?
So you think 5 years with Pete is more beneficial to the Seahawks than 6 or 7 with Russ?
I'm giving him Pete before I get
Okay, so you're on that side.
I don't know if the management's going to do that.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Randy. Thanks for the call.
Yeah.
How was football yesterday? Bummer. Forgot to ask him. So he got tested, but okay. I mean, do we have anything else to say about Russ?
We can talk about it for 5 hours. I mean, it's just, I don't know. What's the return going to be? Because obviously, if they trade him, it's going to be.
I don't want a bunch of draft picks.
I don't think management wants that. Seeing what's come out of it, out of draft picks before. So
And if you keep Pete and get rid of Russ, like the whole point is like Pete wants to run the ball more. If you get rid of Russ, it's not like they have a star running back who's gonna take over.
Yeah.
They still just
So I'm saying they need a quarterback. So I think for Russ, you'd have to get a quarterback in return. Which
Yeah.
Cowboys probably wouldn't get one. Who else did you say? The Raiders to get Derek Carr or Mariota. Who else? Who was the other
Saints.
one? Saints. You wouldn't get anybody. Taste them.
And the Bears, you wouldn't either.
No, Bears you wouldn't get either. So
I don't want to go and draft another quarterback. That's just not draft picks, and to draft another quarterback is not the answer. I don't think it's even close to the answer. No.
it's a huge back step for sure. Like people are like, oh, we get rid of Russ, well, all these picks. It's such a regression in
Seriously.
the progression that you guys have made.
Yeah.
I mean, one and done sucks. It does, but how about not being there at all? Like that's
That's the thing.
the harsh reality.
And stability in your quarterback position. Like if you have that, then other things are easier to figure out. So you don't want to get rid of like probably your biggest piece because you probably have to fill that in first before you address any other problems, and then it's going to take a while to get a quarterback, and then all the same problems are still there.
Okay, let's go to our. I don't even want to. We called it like rebuilding at the beginning. I think it's more of just like an off-season outlook, like kind of like what these teams, what their situation is, like what they should be looking forward to, or what they have to look forward to this offseason. So we'll start with the Steelers. Whatever they started 11-0. Obviously, a disappointing exit in the playoffs in the first round. You like Big Ben is the biggest question for this team, and they've said he's coming back, right? Like Art Rooney put out a statement,
had multiple meetings saying that they're confident that he's going to be the quarterback next year with a restructure. Is pretty much what it's been.
right? So yeah, so that's what we can't really say a ton about this team until we know what that new contract is going to be.
The more we look at all these teams, the more I'm sure you guys can attest to this too. This like limited cap space is just it's putting a lot of teams in trouble. Like I was looking at the Niners and I thought the Niners were in a terrible position, and I'm like looking at it, and then I'm looking at other teams and I'm like, man, like everybody's in the same boat this year. Like it's going to be such a tough offseason for these teams to try to fill all these spots.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, someone like Pittsburgh where you think they almost have every single piece. I mean, they went 11-0. They're very talented, but couldn't really make it happen in the end of the year. Like, what can they add to get better? And it's like, with that cap space, I mean, you kind of just hopefully get lucky in the draft. I don't know. Like,
yeah, no, exactly.
That's one thing I noticed about the Steelers, and they're only, I think, 7 over the cap, which is
That's what over the cap or spot track I was on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously you don't want to be over the cap, but that's better than some teams. But a lot of times when teams are close to the cap, it's like they're either overpaying like a lot of defensive players, or like they just have a huge quarterback contract. And the Steelers are both. They're not overpaying defensive players, but like, I mean, they're paying their defense a lot, and it shows. And I don't think that's a problem. But yeah, putting like $40 million or whatever into like Big Ben. Like paying their defense, they get good return out of that. They have one of the best defenses in the league, but putting that much money into Big Ben, they're not getting the return from that.
I think honestly the plan though for this team is pretty simple. You need to get better at your run game needs to get better. You were 31st in run percentage last year for a team that prides themselves historically on running the ball, and you were last in yards per carry, like 3.5 yards per carry as a team. That's atrocious.
Yikes.
So that is obviously like the biggest need for this team is to get better in the run game. Obviously, the Ben stuff, I don't really know what the restructure is going to look like, and I think that's a whole separate thing of what they need to do at quarterback. But just speaking in this offseason, your run game needs to get better. The two players I had them cutting, like for sure, no brainers to me, are Eric Ebron.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Ebron needs to be gone. It's an $8.5 million contract. He does nothing. And Joe Hayden, I think, is a cut for them too. Joe Hayden's dead cap is like $2 million, and he's getting paid almost $16. He's not worth $16 million. So I think those are two no-brainer cuts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So that gives you at least in positive cap space.
Yeah.
The tough part is the guys you're losing in free agency. Before it's like TJ Watt is on such a good. He's making $10 million this year.
Think about that. Their wide receiver room and him, like those are great core pieces to a team, and they're both like in very good spots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, almost a defensive player of the year. They're only paying 10. Like that's pretty good.
His market value is 26.
Yeah. It's great.
So they have 4 big free agents. They have a bunch of other ones, but the 4 big ones, Bud Dupree, I think is gone.
ACL, right? He just
Yeah,
came off an ACL
but
tear.
his-
I think they let him walk.
His market value is 18.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's probably going to get that, and he should.
Yeah.
He had like 9 sacks in 10 games before he got hurt. I mean, he's a beast.
You let him walk. You have to.
Yeah, which is a bummer because
They're a good pairing.
Yeah. James Conner.
Walk. See you later.
Yeah, he's going to get paid somewhere.
That bridge is burnt too. It's
Yeah.
just the attitude problems they've already had with him. Yeah, it's that.
So that becomes both. So now we have. We said Bud Dupree walk, edge rusher becomes an automatic need. You have to pair someone else besides TJ Watt. We've seen how teams that only have one edge rusher, unless it's Aaron Donald,
Yeah.
it's neutralized.
Still the team you're done.
James Conner, so now running back becomes a need. I think Matthew actually mentioned their running back situation on the pod, just about draft because we were talking about drafting running backs. And
I think they only have Anthony McFarland. On the
Benny
contract now.
Snell, I think, is still
contract,
barely. Let's look.
But yeah, they have 2 younger guys. A lot of people probably haven't heard of. So.
Nope.
I heard of Snow.
Juju Smith-Schuster is also a free agent.
That's the big question mark.
That
He
is
wants
the
to be there.
biggest question mark.
He has said that he's willing to take a pay cut to stay in Pittsburgh. He said he wants to stay there.
I
So
did not know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I was very much for letting him walk, but if he's
I
willing
am
to take
too.
a pay cut, I don't know. Because he's definitely not like he's not like a top receiver, but I don't.
He is not. Their market value is 16. The Steelers do not have that cap.
no, they don't. And
No,
he's
he
not a
doesn't.
premier wide receiver, but he could be a really good slot piece for a team that's willing to pay that. But yeah,
Yeah.
but he has been very adamant that he wants to stay in Pittsburgh, which I don't know why, because the quarterback is
Exactly.
so questionable for the future.
Exactly.
Like I don't know why not just go test your luck somewhere else. But he's
Yeah.
been very adamant about it, like on
He's-
social media, everything.
Yeah, and he's got other. Well, yeah, he's all over social media always, but
TikTok,
TikTok what?
Corvette, hop.
But no, it does seem interesting. He must think very highly of himself, especially with. I mean, Deontay Johnson's not that great, but like a beast like Chase Claypool that's coming up through that
Yeah.
team, like Juju must think that he's really that good if he can.
I think he benefits from that, though.
Yeah,
I think
I
he
agree.
benefits from Chase being good. I think that just frees up the middle for him more. Because he was, if you watch the Steelers this year, it was, let's throw to Deontay Johnson, let's throw to Claypool early, see if we can get a deep shots, and then, we're down. Oh, crap. Okay, well, let's feed Juju over the middle 20 times on the drive, and
Yeah,
we get yards. We get
Juju,
5
Juju,
yards
Juju.
apiece every time, and then, yeah, it's
Right.
like, he's been
Johnson
Big Ben's
was
safety blanket, like, in crunch time, in the biggest time of the game. So, I don't know. I can't imagine their passing game without Juju, especially
Yeah.
in good games.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to kill bad teams because they have good defense. But, yeah, I don't know.
Mike Hilton is another corner for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they bring him back
Yeah.
easily. He's not
They
going to
let
ask
Joe-
for very much.
They get rid of Joe
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, because those are their two, is Hayden and Hilton, and Hilton's going to take about half as much, and he's probably just as good. So I think Hilton's gone, and then the other big free agent for them is Alejandro Villanueva. They're a long time, I think, left tackle. Yeah, left tackle.
Also a veteran.
Yeah, he's getting old. It's just gonna be how much he wants. Because if he wants that big contract for probably his last 3 or 4 years in the league, I'm not sure how old he is. I'm pretty sure 37.
Yeah, he's old.
Let's check it.
He went to the
Right.
Army for 4 years. So
Oh, he's only
32,
33. He's only 33.
32 and a half.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just going to be how much he wants, because they're probably not going to be able to pay him a ton. But
like you said, it's a big need. Run game.
It's huge.
And,
It's huge.
and their offensive line isn't regarded as a bad offensive line, but they did lose Pouncey to retirement.
which
now
they
have-
honestly were going to cut him.
Yeah, he's gone anyway.
Yeah.
Both the brothers were kind of the spot where they knew they were getting
Mhm.
cut. But Villanueva, and so do they address the offensive line and try to run it with the two young guys,
Yeah.
or do they sign them running back? Yeah, they got a lot of questions in that run game.
That's one I had was the O-line. It's something I just thought about now, like moving forward with because I mean, even if they have Big Ben this year, he's getting pretty old, and it shows. Like they're not going to have him too much longer. And we've seen what happens when teams bring in a young quarterback and don't have a great O-line. And so that's one thing I think looking forward that they're going to want to keep an eye on their O-line. So
For sure.
like they're not horrible right now, but I definitely think they could improve.
I will say the Big Ben situation, the fact that the cap hit for Big Ben's 40-something million this year and they're only 7 over is remarkable for
Yeah.
them. I think that, especially with how much talent they have, it's kind of crazy. And the thing with Big Ben is it's such an awkward situation because usually the way you try to lower his cap number, which they're trying to do, is you extend someone, but you don't want to extend Big Ben. So what they're going to do, I have no idea. So that's going to be one to keep your ears open for. But
That's definitely one we're going to be able to talk about just more this offseason as we get more clarity on what they're going to do draft wise and stuff, because it's like we just went over all the stuff that this team needs, and quarterback shouldn't be their top priority, and they have very limited resources now with that contract at quarterback. So yeah, if he restructures and then they're able to bring someone else in, like one of those free agents on like a cheap contract, and then like use both of those guys, I think that'd be more effective, because then you can use your draft capital on edge rushers, running back, offensive line, because you have some holes you need to fill on that team, and you're not going to be able to do that if you have to address the quarterback.
you guys remember, talk with the listeners, they did sign Dwayne Haskins. He is now like in their quarterback room. Like I wonder if management thinks that like they got a steal with that,
Yeah.
and like they could groom him behind Big Ben for like one more year. Like maybe they think that he's the future, which we all know it didn't go well in Washington, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, for sure. Matthew, what's up? Say hi to YouTube.
Well, you too.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Matthew, we just finished up the Steelers. We talked about Russ. So I don't know.
It's
whatever.
Russ comments. I want to hear.
I get some clothes.
Just wet it. Is it
I'm
close?
about to give up.
Ha!
I'm gonna give up.
Russell Wilson just dropped a workout hype video while Tracy, like I told you, he's doing his thing. He doesn't even care.
Every couple hours, he checked in with his agent. He's like, "Anything new?" And the guy's like, "Not really."
He's like,
I don't know. It's hard for me to really get super mad at him. Like I get it, I can see that perspective, but I don't know. It's tough. For me, I immediately think, okay, well, who would we replace him with? Like, what team, what quarterback would we then bring in? And I'm thinking like Derek Carr, Mariota,
Yeah,
Tua, and I'm just like, eh.
Was not going to Miami.
Yeah. I mean, it's a mess. I think it's just they're trying to pressure the organization to give him what he wants. And I mean, I don't know. It's frustrating if the team's not doing very well and then your leader is inside and is telling like, hey, we need to do this differently. And if they are just like, pshaw, like
Right.
Russ, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just
Right.
the quarterback of the team. Yeah, I don't know.
okay, I saved this question for when you got here because I want to know. Obviously, right now, it's if this happens, this is where I want to go. What would your guys' first thoughts be if he's like, I want to get traded, I demand a trade? Like, what are your guys' first thoughts going to be?
Mine would be like, well, now we have this list. So my immediate would be like, okay, which one of these is the most likely, and what are we going to get back?
Right. Yeah, for me, it's like we're spending so much money on quarterback. All right, what are we going to do if we have a bunch of money to spend all of a sudden? Like, what are we going to do with that money?
It just seems like this is the road we're going down, right? He's like sending warnings, they're sending warnings, and then one day it's going to be like, oh, we demand a trade. Like, would you guys be mad? Like obviously it'd be tough if they demand a trade, but like, will your first thoughts be like, wow, like organization couldn't find a I don't know, like a mutualistic relationship with him? Like, really, like we just like.
Yeah, I'd be
This
pissed
relationship
because
stayed
I'd rather have Pete. I'd rather have Russ.
Yeah. Like, so they
Yeah.
just let it stay tainted. Like, they they let it just squander, and he's like, fine, I'm done. Like, you guys aren't gonna work with me, you know?
100%. I'd be really concerned about our organization if that's the case, that we can't find a mutual agreement with a top 3 quarterback in football. Like, that's a problem.
Knock on wood, this doesn't happen, but like, could you imagine if like Watson and Wilson just like, fine, we're sitting out. You guys don't want to like work with us, like imagine a year of football without both of them. Like, that'd be crazy.
I mean, NFL. I think Goodell would step in
I do
before
too.
that. I don't think you'd let that happen.
2 of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks.
You remember what happened like just 2 years ago with like the roughing the passer penalties because of how many quarterbacks, like I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, that got hurt. Like Rodgers was out for the season. All these quarterbacks and then they started making roughing the passer calls more frequent. Like they told refs that the NFL steps in because of their ratings, because they do not like quarterbacks give ratings. That's why primetime matchups are all based on quarterbacks. Yeah. So I mean that would be that'd be insane. But I think they would both say that, and then Goodell would be like, no.
Yeah.
And then
We gotta
a
do
week
something.
later,
Yeah.
we'd get it.
So I was like, we'll give you guys $5 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Cleveland Browns. This is an interesting one. I just talked to Theo on the last podcast. If you guys haven't listened to that, go check it out. I just talked to Theo about, because he's a big Browns fan, so I wanted to hear kind of his thoughts on what the Browns should do. And they're an interesting team. He obviously said, I think what we probably all had in mind for the Browns, their offensive line was absolutely incredible this year, and that's something that needs to stay intact. Theo was like, none of these guys are free agents. Like we need to like re-sign them and make sure they keep. I think that's the name of the game for this offseason for the Browns. You have $26 million in cap and no real big free agents. So a lot of teams are going to like, just glancing at this, because my first thought, I go, wow, $25 million in cap. And then I look at, who they have on under contract. No one, or no free agents. They have everyone under contract. You can't. If I'm the Browns, don't get greedy. I think is you don't need to go out and get Allen Robinson or Chris Godwin. You don't need to go pay for them. This needs to be your offseason where, because Myles Garrett, you extended him. He has big money coming his way soon. I think I saw one website, one like Browns website, who put it really well. They were like, extend Nick Chubb and Denzel Ward like right now and front load their contracts to this season. And I was like, genius.
Yeah.
Because you have so much cap this season, front load their contracts, and then this is going to be a discussion for later, and maybe we can have a little bit of today, but whatever you're going to do with Baker, you're going to have to pay him big money and Garrett big money in the future. But you can't you can't push all those contracts to the future, because we're seeing what happens with the Saints and the Falcons right now. So I was like, that's a genius move to sign Denzel Ward and Nick Chubb, who are going to ask for big money in a few years, and just say, hey, we're going to give you a lot of guaranteed upfront money these next 2 years, because in a few years we don't want to have to pay you a lot, along with Myles Garrett and probably Baker. So I don't know. That was kind of what I was.
That's genius.
And I think you operate as if Myles Garrett and Baker Mayfield continue to improve, and you're not paying big money. I think you operate that way. And obviously, the big question mark is Odell.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
And I think I'm at the point where I think you trade Odell, do whatever you can to get him out of there.
Well, okay, so Odell next season, next season has no dead cap hit.
That's what I saw. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
So you could cut
You
him.
can cut him.
And I saw somewhere that said, even though his dead cap is almost the same as is this season, I heard the Giants take on that dead cap.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure.
With the
Yeah,
trade.
I'm sure that's something that will happen.
What?
But I think you try to get value for him
Yeah,
this year.
yeah.
If you can get some sucker to pay up for him, do it. But yeah, obviously you have an easy out next year. And then I think you operate it, and I think signing those two young guys early is very smart. And then I think you have to operate with saving money for Baker and Myles Garrett for the next 2 years and signing them to the long term. Like that's just, you got to plan for the future if you're the Browns.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I know we mentioned it probably a million times, but they're just way better when Beckham's not there, and Beckham's like their highest, like this season or this coming season, he's highest on their like cap
Payroll,
list,
yeah.
their payroll.
Two top or wide receivers. They're both.
Yeah, they're both. Yeah, it's
top.
Beckham and Landry, but they're obviously just so much better when Beckham's not in the field, and a lot of it's not like skill. It's just like
Ego.
mental. Yeah, ego. Like it's just like you feel like you have to throw it to Beckham or whatever. And And yeah, I don't know if they, like we just kind of said, they shouldn't just cut him right now. Try to get value for him. But if they get rid of Beckham, do you think they need to add anything to the receivers? Not like pay a big young like Godwin or Robinson or anything like that. But like, do you think they maybe draft like a receiver kind of late or like?
Or if you can like steal like a Marvin Jones, I mean, that's
Marvin Jones, the more I look at it, is a hot commodity
Yeah,
this year
yeah.
because he's his price.
he's a perfect two. I mean, he just put him inside Jarvis, and he's going to do work. That's just what he does. So.
And
Rashard Higgins is a free agent for them too.
oh, he's a free agent. Oh, okay,
I think they re-signed him.
Yeah, I think
I was just gonna say
and he's
like,
familiar with the system.
Yeah,
Chemistry, it makes sense.
yeah. I think I saw a lot of plays. I just felt like near the end of the season when the Browns started cooking a little bit, I felt like Mayfield just found Higgins a lot.
Yeah. No, wide receivers is such an interesting one because you can't unless you get rid of Odell, you can't even if you get rid of Odell, I don't think you can go out and really spend on a wide receiver. That's just not the identity of this team.
No.
But yeah, they're in a like a really good spot right now.
Kareem a free agent. Is that who the other big one is? I think they have one, and I think it's Kareem.
No, Kareem,
2023 is when he's-
$5 million too.
Yeah.
He's making $5 million.
That's crazy. I could have
Crazy.
swore he was a free agent.
They're in a good spot.
Yeah,
No, okay, the big, obviously Odell. I don't know what they do with Odell. It seems probably more likely than not he's either cut or traded, but we'll see. We're gonna play this game on the podcast, I think, in a couple weeks, but I'll just throw it out there now. Like, do you pay Baker Mayfield $40 million?
40. Oof. I mean, on average.
Yeah, $40 million a year.
That's what he's going to ask in a couple years.
I mean, that's literally. I'm looking at a thing right now, and I'm not sure how updated it is. But I mean, you have Mahomes making 45 a year, and then Deshaun's making 39.
But I think Watson's go up to like 40 in the 40s?
Probably.
That's 42.
So then
he's going to ask for
The only thing is like Dak's gonna ask for more eventually. Josh Allen will get paid eventually. Probably Lamar too. So that's what I'm just saying. Like those guys are gonna get 40 million plus.
I think you draw a line at like 33 and a half. I'm like, dude, if anybody else is willing to pay you that much, you go there. But we're not going to give you
33 and a half is
But
your
you do
number.
that now. Like if you offer him 4 year, 120 right now,
What's that? 30?
30 million a year.
Oh my gosh! If
Just
I'm
offer two
the
now.
Browns, I love 30 million a
No,
year.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
am clapping at 30 million.
So give it to him now rather than if he does do very well.
And front load
get
it. Front load it. You
Yeah.
have so much cap.
I think that's the better move because
Yeah.
40s. I mean, it's only going to go up. Every quarterback contract is going to go up every year.
Yeah.
But
And it's so hard because he is not a $40 million quarterback. But if Baker leaves, like everything else that you have going for you right now is almost out the window.
I mean, he
Like,
may not be a $30 million contract or $30 million
Yeah.
quarterback now, but he might be. In
But
2
he's
years.
still a big piece of your team, and your team has something really good going. So yeah, you might just have to shell out the extra couple million just to keep things the way they are.
And I just keep saying Baker has the easiest negotiation like leverage ever. He just shows them that picture of the back of that Browns jersey that has 25 quarterbacks listed.
Shows
and
how long
saying,
it's been.
hey,
playoffs.
I'm the one that took you to the playoffs,
Yeah.
and not only did I take you, we won,
We won.
and we almost won too. Like I think he just has such a like. I don't see him being super greedy because I think he's competitive enough to where he probably understands his situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think what both of you said was probably on the target. Like Matthew saying 33 and a half is where I draw the line, and Brandon saying maybe you just pay him now 30. Like, yeah, that's what you ideally want to do, right? I mean, ideally, yeah, 20, but that's not happening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm just if he comes at you and says 40 or I walk. The question is who
I know,
pays
yeah.
for him. But
Yeah.
Let him go. Unless it's a generational talent like Deshaun or something where you're literally going to bank on him winning your games. Baker's not that guy. Not right now, at least. And I think if you go try to draft or sign up for agent, that's why. I think you're just killing your team for $40 million for Baker.
I agree for sure. This market value for him is 35. I want to see. They do a cool thing. They like compare him to the guys like they like rank him in the quarterbacks and then compare him to like who's around him. So they have Mahomes' deal, Goff's deal, Cousins' deal, Wentz's deal are all comparable players to Baker. Dang, I just did not realize how much.
What's Wentz's?
428.
Yeah, it's not worth to me. I'd put them.
But
in the same tier
I
now.
think he's
Yeah,
probably right now better than Wentz
and younger.
in a better situation
No,
too.
not younger. They're close. They're closer than that.
I see them very similar.
No, I do too. But if Wentz is on the Browns, you're the same thing. You're not pissed with that contract.
No, you're not.
Hmm.
I'm saying, I think, yeah, do it now. Get it over with. Take your bet.
Man, I think they've got a chance to do if they don't mess it up. You got to pay Chubb now too.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to pay Chubb McCaffrey money, but he's going to get paid eventually. And the longer you put it off, the more he's going to probably want as he gets older too.
Because I think the Ravens are only going to get worse. I think the Steelers are going to limit themselves a big bit this year again. I think that they need to be in a win now. Like they need to have a mindset. Let's do it now, and then we'll deal with the future. But yeah, they're in a good spot though.
Mhm.
I think.
Okay, let's go to the Ravens. Do you guys have any initial thoughts on the Ravens?
So they still have like 25 million cap space. The first thing I saw was, and obviously they're a run first offense, but they're paying 2 tight ends. Nick Boyle's making $8 million, but he has no dead cap. He's only 28.
They really like him, I think.
That's the thing is
Like,
they do really like him, and then Mark Andrews is making a lot less because he's younger. He's only like 25.
yeah, he's got drafted like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so he was younger than I thought. So like, I think they're not going to pay any receivers a lot of money, and then I think it's crazy they don't even have to pay running backs a lot of money, and they're still a running team. All that has to do with Lamar. I think Yannick Ngakoue is a free agent. I think, and they have the Spot Rack or whatever had his value at 15 million, and he's.
It's not terrible.
I think it said like defensive end, and then I looked up and they said outside linebacker or whatever.
He's
it is.
edge.
Edge, yeah. I think they pay him, right?
Which
Yannick,
one? Because you have
Yannick.
Judon too.
You have Judon.
Yeah.
I think they pay Judon before they play Judon.
I would rather pay Judon. And they're only going to be able to pay one of them, and that's your other need in free agency / the draft is edge.
Do they have a estimate for Judon?
Both of them
15.6.
15-6.
I take Judon.
I would too, hands down. And Ngakoue has some personal issues too. Like he's just, I don't know what he did in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Like I just don't want. I'd rather not have signed that guy to a long-term deal
Yeah.
if he's already wanted out at one spot.
He's ran himself out of every situation. I mean, then they traded him to the Vikings. Something happened there, and they're like, okay, we're gonna trade him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, I'd rather have Judon, and you can only afford to take one of them. So that's what I would do there. Do you have any?
My first thing was deal with Orlando Brown. Either try to extend them. Because O-lines, I think, is the most important thing about this team. They're not throwing the ball a lot. They're running the ball, and you need to grab off the bottom to that. So
Yeah.
I think you're sitting very pretty at the running back position. You got J.K. for the next couple of years on his rookie contract. Lamar, personally, I think you run out his rookie deal and then let him walk, but it ain't gonna happen. They're gonna sign him at some point.
Yeah.
And then the next big question is, do you try to go get a premier wide receiver, which I think it's a waste of money.
But
But
for them, it's a waste of money. And that was one thing. Was like their O line isn't horrible. They have Ronnie Stanley and Orlando Brown. They're both tackles, and then I can't remember if it was the Ravens or one of the other teams. Their center is a free agent. But they have another like kind of young guy.
I don't
remember
know.
who it
They
is.
have Yonda at right guard. He's older, but I think he's still under contract.
Okay, I was just looking at
I
their
don't know
top
who their
like
center guard
it was
is,
like their
but-
top like 20 or 25 guys in the salary, and I like their first guard was like really far down there.
Guard and center were
Yeah.
high up on my list
Yeah.
of needs for this team.
Yeah, and the only reason I did put them at their need, but like they're really good in the tackle like position right now.
Yeah.
So the weird thing is when you run the ball, you need good guards.
I
and
mean,
centers.
Inside, yeah.
I think wide receiver. You obviously you want a 1, but I don't know if I'd be willing to pay for a 1.
Right.
Did you guys see Willie Snead comment?
What do you say?
Yesterday?
Oh,
He's like,
yeah, I did.
he's
see
like
that.
any wide receiver can be a wide receiver 1 if you
Oh my
adjust to his strengths or
Mhm.
whatever. But that, yeah, I was
Yeah.
just talking about your wide receiver 1 throwing out there.
Yeah.
So
you go.
no, go ahead.
So the only wide receiver that I don't know why I keep, it's always the same player, but This is not going to happen, but N'Keal Harry on the Patriots has been awful. The dude's 6'4", 225. The Ravens don't have any wide receiver that can go one-on-one. Harry's been awful, so you shouldn't have to trade a whole lot for him. And he brings something new to your team, and he probably won't cost the line.
Is he a
That's
free
not going to
agent?
happen. No, he's only
not.
2 years in the league. So he probably has
Okay.
2 or 3 more years left of his rookie deal. But he sucked, and you probably shouldn't take that much. Yeah.
Well, okay,
He
so-
could essentially be like another tight end almost.
The guy I thought you were going to bring up was Nelson Aguilar.
I like that.
I have him on. So I have 3 wide receivers that I think they could go after. Corey Davis is one that really keeps being linked to the Ravens. I don't think they're going to pay enough. I don't think they'll pay for Corey Davis, and I don't think they maybe should, because I think Davis is going to want some big money somewhere. He almost had 1,000 yards receiving.
Yeah.
And I think he obviously benefited from A.J. Brown on the other side of him, but he's pretty young and was a top 10 pick. Like, he has the talent.
Mhm.
Aguilar was one. I think Aguilar might go. Like, I think some team's going to pay him maybe more than they should. I think just with the season he had.
Mhm.
And then the other one that I had was Kendrick Bourne.
Mhm.
I think all of those guys are kind of bigger. That would be that's just what they need, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems pretty obvious.
So my dream situation is I like the Aguilar one, but they have a deep threat in Marquise Brown, right? Dude's got to stay healthy, but he's a great talent, and I think they need another under route guy that's a really good route runner to help with Mark Andrews and stuff. And if the Steelers just say, Juju, get the hell out of here, like, we're not paying you, we're done with you, like, how awesome would it be for Juju to go to the Ravens and
Yeah.
rush towards the Steelers twice a year, and he's a perfect target, just the under route, the slants, everything. He'd be perfect for Lamar. And
The
you don't have to
problem
pay
is-
him Premier.
Will he ask
Yeah.
for that money?
That's the only problem I have situation. But that's my dream situation. I would
love it
That would
too.
be really cool.
I don't, because the like you how much cap? 25?
25.
15 of that's gone for whichever edge rusher you decide to sign. Because if they don't sign one of them, they're like, you need to sign at least one of those guys.
Yeah.
The big problem for this team is going to be Lamar Jackson.
Mhm.
Is that he's going to be $40 million for sure.
Mhm.
In
Got an MVP under his belt.
yeah, I mean, he might be 40. He might ask for 45 with all the stuff that he does for this team.
Who knows how what the cap number is going to be? He's only going to benefit from it. So
Yeah.
I don't think he signs this off season, but yeah, you can't just go out and you can't sign a premier receiver and pay them big money. And if you're going to sign your quarterback, I mean, Lamar's making like $1 million right now. It's
not crazy.
a huge bump for what he's about to get. That's the only thing I worry about with this team is like they need to start hitting on some draft picks, especially on the offense side of the ball. If they're going to be successful without Lamar, because I think this year is they have a really good shot to make a run this year with Lamar still on that team friendly deal. Because once he's off of it, if you're not able to make that run with him like making $1 million,
They have to pay him too.
because that's what happens with the
No
Seahawks.
doubt.
Then you turn into the Seahawks because we won the Super Bowl with Russ on that deal.
Yeah.
Now we have not, and they need a.
They're going to handcuff themselves. And if you're a Ravens fan, you're not thinking about it, you're being oblivious. They're going to handcuff themselves, and they're going to pay a running quarterback for 5 or 6 years, $40 million some dollars a year, and it's going to kill the team. It is. It's just the way it is. I don't know. It's a tough situation, but you have to pay him. The dude has gone off. He's got an MVP under his belt, but if you get to a Super Bowl, he's definitely getting paid, and probably up to the 50 mark.
Yeah. So yeah, big needs for them were add the interior offensive line, wide receiver, and edge.
Who are their corners? They have Marlin, and who else do they have? And Peters. What about the safeties? They lost Earl. I had safety
Chuck
down.
Clark.
And I know they have Chuck, but he's not the greatest player in the world. But if they wanted to help out with that, because they do play a lot of pass-heavy teams in the playoffs, especially like the secondary is a need that I had.
Yeah, definitely. Back in. They're showing on corner. They have a good nickel too, Taven Young. It's a good nickel back. But yeah, safety for sure. Browns, they need another corner opposite Ward, and Olivia Vernon is a free agent for the Browns. So another edge rusher aside of Myles Garrett would be nice for them too.
Who were the free agent edge rushers? Somebody pull it up real quick.
Didn't we do this last week too?
I think we did, but
I have free agent running backs here.
because we know that the draft is not edge rusher friendly,
Mhm.
which is kind of crazy because it's been like that a lot. But
Well, one free agent edge rusher is Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah,
Von Miller is a free agent.
that's right.
He's restricted, though, I believe.
Is Clowney a free agent?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Clowney, Leonard Williams,
Leonard Williams is going to get
Justin
paid
Houston.
wherever he goes.
Ryan
Too.
Kerrigan, Tyrone
Think
Crawford, Solomon Thomas, Everson Griffin.
Interesting. Older
Yeah.
experience. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of teams. We've said edge rush a lot for a lot of teams, but it's not an edge rush friendly
Draft
so-
or free agency.
or free agency. But a lot of these guys are probably going to take 1 year flyers, and if you need help, I mean, take a risk on someone.
Yeah.
Clowney's the funny one, man. I mean, what is he going to ask for this offseason?
He's not going to get it.
Exactly. That's
Whatever
the
he's asking,
problem.
he's not getting it.
What do you have? 1 sack? Was that what the number was last year? Everybody's laughing at him because he did take the money or whatever. But yeah, I mean, edge rush, it's a premier spot in the NFL, and it's not there this offseason. So
Okay, looking ahead, NFC North is our next division. Packers, Bears, Vikings, Lions.
Lions is going to be an
Yeah.
interesting one.
I think all of those are pretty
Yeah.
ugly, like just off-season wise. Bears will get a quarterback controversy there, possibly the Vikings too. Did you guys see that? Did you see Kuiper Jr.'s mock draft?
today,
No.
Yeah. I
30 trades in the top 10. or whatever
Okay,
it
let's
was.
just go over that really quick. We have about like 5-6 minutes left. Okay, so here's his top 10. He's got Lawrence 1. He has the Falcons trading up to 2 and taking Zach Wilson.
Woo.
He has Devonta Smith going 3. He has the Jets at 4, so I'm assuming they swapped Falcons and Jets. Jets taking Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida. The Bengals getting Penei Sewell at 5. Jamar Chase going 6 to the Eagles. The Niners trading up to 7 to take Justin Fields. Mac Jones at 8 to Carolina. Trey Lance going 9 to the Patriots, trading up to get him. And then Patrick Surtain at 10 to the Cowboys. So the big ones. I'm gonna save the Devonta Smith and Jamar Chase discussion for another time. So let's talk 7, 8, 9, because that's obviously
No.
so 7 Fields. Brandon, what do you like?
Did they say what they gave up?
No, that's why these mock draft
Yeah.
potential trades are so
Wait, who do you have?
stupid.
Who took him at
The
7?
Niners. So they traded from 12 to 7, which
No,
is
that's
probably
fine.
going to cost at
Yeah.
least a second, a third.
I don't think he'll be there at 7.
No,
That's another thing. Is that relies heavily upon those other teams trading up too. Like just because the Niners traded to 7 doesn't mean
Especially
the quarterback's
if-
gonna be there.
Especially if some team trades up to 2 to grab Zach Wilson, there's going to be someone trading up to 3 to grab another quarterback.
Man.
I really think it's possible we get 5 quarterbacks in the first 5 picks.
Do you think Mac Jones going to go top 5?
Don't.
I can't believe he has Mac Jones for Trey Lance. I think that's disrespectful.
They all keep saying that Mac Jones is the guy that's risen up everyone's draft boards. And what if some team really likes him?
Niners, please don't.
Bro,
Oh,
I'm telling you, if
Lord.
I would not be, it would be so fun to watch if we just keep getting trades.
Trade.
But like, I don't know, quarterbacks in drafts is just so like, these guys, like, teams just aren't afraid to trade up for quarterbacks.
Most valuable position in football. It's not even close. So
Maybe the first 5 is a little bit of a stretch, but
First
like,
4, I feel like it's very likely.
first 7, I can see 5 going. If they got like, if it all depends on if a team does, because one team does, everybody's gonna be like, oh, panic,
Right.
boom,
right, that's what I'm saying. That there's no way the Falcons trade up to 2. That's just why this mock draft is horrible. That there's no way that the Falcons trade up to 2, grab Zach Wilson, and then the Jets at 4 take Kyle Pitts.
No.
Because if they're not taking the quarterback, they just trade back again.
Yeah.
And grab Pitts later.
I think the Dolphins are going to take whatever best talents at 3, the wide receiver position, whoever they like. So I think they probably will go there. And I think that the Bengals are going to be done if they move back. I think they take their tackle, get Joey Burrow some help there. Trying to think who else he has.
But
there.
what if I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins move down from 3 because what if you really like Smith, Pitts, and Chase, and you know the Bengals are going to take a tackle, and a team calls you that it wants a quarterback?
But where do you feel comfortable dropping back to?
Like what if you switch to Carolina, go to 8, the Eagles take Chase and you still get Smith, or the Eagles take Smith and then you get Chase.
Depends who they like. I mean,
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying, if you like, because I've seen
Yeah.
Chase go 3. I've seen, I mean, Pitts went 4 on this one. I'm just saying, if you like all of them and you get a call at 3 saying, hey, we'll give you a couple more picks, you're like, okay, we know the Bengals aren't taking one. You're taking a quarterback.
Pitts is the wild card because I mean I've seen him go late first, now mid first, and then now whatever.
Well,
whatever.
I
So-
hate the mock drafts that have him going to the Patriots at 15 because there's no way he just follows the Patriots line
Yeah.
at 15.
That's what I'm saying. He's just risen up everybody's
Yeah,
draft board,
I,
so.
I don't see top 5. I just don't see it.
I don't either.
I
think
see
I'd be shocked,
between 8 and like 13. 7, 13, like those picks. I just don't see him top 5.
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, I'd be shocked if I'd be surprised if he goes top 5, but I don't think he just falls to 15 and the Patriots just scoop him
Yeah.
up. Right? I think another team will take him before. I mean, there's been like when people composite rank all positions, he's like number
No, he's top.
Like
That's what I'm saying,
two,
yeah, yeah.
on a lot of them
He's all the way up there. So
because he's like 6'6" and he can run. And he's a tight end.
he's like putting Kelsey out in the flex, but faster.
Yeah, that's why. And we've seen what the difference that Kelsey, Waller, and Kittle mean to the rest of the league.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, Jones is the weird one. We really don't like Jones, but he keeps rising. I'd be shocked if he goes ahead of Trey Lance.
I wonder how that much that means, like not just like people, like not GMs and stuff, but like what Devonta Smith said about, would you rather have Matt Jones at 2 as your quarterback?
Yeah.
And he goes, Matt Jones, like
Yeah.
nothing. Like I wonder how much that means to
One
people.
game.
You know, like that's just interesting. I think Tua has an ego to him. I think that's the problem. I think he looks like very calm on the outside, but I feel like he thinks he's like the man. So
I don't know. Miami thinks he's the man.
Exactly.
But we'll see. Maybe if he. How funny would that be though? If the Dolphins take Smith right after he says all those things about Jones?
Oh, I'd much rather be with
I didn't
two.
even
I'm
think about
like,
that.
well,
I didn't either. Just in
Time
time.
reality TV right there. That's awesome.
That'd be great.
Give me Hard Knocks, please.
All right, boys. Good show. We'll do a pod maybe Sunday night or Monday night. We'll see. Hopefully we get some more stuff coming out because then we got March Madness and free agency coming right around the corner. So the free agent pod might be 2 hours long, just talking about potential destinations. Like I'm really excited for that one.
We got Boise State basketball tonight.
Yes, I'm so pumped.
is this the last series?
Last series,
Yep,
right?
San Diego State.
Yeah, but then we do play Fresno State.
They just announced at home.
Pshaw.
Yep. All right, yeah, I'm excited for that Boise game tonight. That'll be fun. 7:00 Mountain Time on FS1. So,
Tune in.
all right, let's check in. Let's give the show to our boy Kyle. Kyle, how we doing, my man?
How we doing today, y'all? So you guys are Boise State people?
Yes, we are.
Oh, I'm San Diego State.
No way! What?
Does that mean we can't like each other now?
No.
Oh, well, tonight's gonna be a good one then, huh?
Oh my God, yeah. And we have the same record, but I know the Aztecs are ranked higher because like they're on this crazy winning streak right now. But I gotta be honest, I haven't watched that many of the games this year because I was so disappointed last year when we didn't get to actually play out the tourney when we were gonna be a 2 or a 3 seed.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That sucks. You're just gonna be disappointed because of how good you guys were last year.
Yeah.
You guys were.
Malachi Flynn, but we're still
Yeah.
gonna play March Madness. That's cool because it hasn't happened, I think, in like 3 years or something. But still, like, a little disappointing after last year.
Yeah, I know. We watched you guys play in Boise last year, man. That team was good.
They were.
They were legitimately great. It was better like during the regular season. They were winning more than the Kawhi Leonard teams, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, man. Well, have a good show.
Appreciate it, and you guys also. Devonta Smith is definitely going to the Dolphins as the 3 pick, and there's still a scenario where Jalen Waddle can end up with the Dolphins as the 17th pick, so you can get both of them.
That would be interesting.
Love that idea. But thanks again, guys. It was a good show.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Titans released.
Bye, YouTube. Thank you.
See you later, YouTube.
Titans released Adam Humphries. Opened about $4.5 million cap space.
Breaking news.